Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over, and today I'll be talking you through what to expect in the June update to Battlefield 1, which is the game's final big update. There's lots of new content to expect, including one entirely new weapon, some new variants to already existing guns, a new game type that's being rolled out, as well as some of the other quality of life and bug fixes we've all been asking for a very long time. There isn't currently an official release date. Some people have speculated the 26th of June, which is today, but currently there's no update in sight. There are only a few days left in June, however, so it won't be long till you can get your hands on all the new content. So if you find this video useful or entertaining, make sure you hit that like button before you go, and after the new patch drops, I'll be releasing detailed videos on all of the new weapons and the new variants, so if you want to keep up to date with those, make sure you hit the subscribe button too. I should start by letting you know that I am a console player, so I don't have access to the CTE, meaning that I've just got some random background footage that I had left over for you guys to watch, and there's a fair bit to get to, so let's jump straight to it and have a look at the new weapons. First of all is an entirely new weapon to the support class, the Burton LMR, which has been available in the CTE for quite some time now. Now this looks like a really cool addition to the LMG category with some very interesting aesthetics that are definitely bizarre at best. It's got dual magazines that are loaded into the top in a sort of V shape connected to the barrel of the gun, making it very difficult to see over, with the right hand magazine loaded with regular ammo and the left hand magazine being equipped with incendiary ammunition, which you can switch to using the fire selector. The incendiary ammo does reduce damage to infantry, but against planes and airships it does far more damage than your regular ammo. This has been modelled closely on the original Burton, which as far as I can find out then became the Vickers LMG, which was originally intended to be mounted on airplanes. There are a couple of interesting things to notice about the Burton. When you reload, the magazine that you have selected is the only one that's reloaded, and it's currently the only LMG that has a bayonet. We'll be getting two variants of the Burton, both trench and optical, and from what I've seen in footage already, it will be a nice close competitor with something like the BAR Storm and the LMG 08/18 because of its fast fire rate, which is actually pretty rapid at 830 rounds per minute, which will award a more aggressive playstyle and doesn't rely so much on laying down with a bipod to be effective. Next up, we've got the Annihilator and a new variant being added, the Storm variant specifically. I'm sure we all know by now that the Storm variants reduce recoil as you aim down sight, making you more effective than you would be over range with the Annihilator Trench, but in all honesty, I don't expect too much from this variant as the Annihilator is an extremely close quarters killing machine, but I'll be covering that in some future videos anyway. Next up, we've got the General Lou, which has finally has its alternate fire mode added to it. This is something that DICE have been working on for a very long time because it's so hard to get right and add in. Rather than just having the regular semi-automatic fire mode, you can now switch to a bolt action mode, which gives you extra damage per shot in exchange for a much slower fire rate. Obviously, this is a very interesting addition to the medic class, which is already getting the rub of the green as far as the meta is concerned, but it looks like this alternate fire mode will bring an entirely new way to play as a medic. Next up is the sidearms, and we're having a look at the M1911, which has had a silenced variant add to it. As far as I can tell, and from what I've found out, there is literally no change to how the weapon performs, apart from having the obvious look and the sound cues that have been changed. I think this could be a really interesting part of your loadout, as there hasn't really been a stealth-orientated emphasis at all in Battlefield 1, apart from using the slink specialization, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if I saw people using both of those together, coupling it with some smoke grenades as well, running around like some sort of new age ninja. Lastly, as far as new weapons go, we've got the addition of the pilot and tanker class primary weapons being added to both the assault and support classes. The assault class can expect to have the From a Stop auto and the sawn off shotgun. This doesn't seem to be adding too much to the assault class, as there's already the machine and pistola and the model 1900 available, but the support class has got far more added to it in the form of the P08 artillery, the 1911 extended, the MLE 1903 extended, the C93 carbine, the C96 carbine, and the Piper revolving carbine. As far as I'm able to find out, all of these new additions to the assault and support classes will be available from the get-go without completing any challenges, giving those players that don't play in vehicles a chance to use some weapons that they probably, and especially in my case, will be incredibly unfamiliar with. So that's it for the new weapons and the new variants. We've got lots to play with once the patch drops, and some really interesting additions in the form of the Burton LMR and the new fire mode on the General Lou, which I can't wait to use personally. The next big addition in the June patch is the introduction of the entirely new Shock Operations game mode to a select few maps. Shock Operations is exactly the same as the Operations game type in its original form, except it is limited to only one single map instead of the regular 2 or 3 like in Oil of Empires. It also has a reduced player count with a maximum of 40 in a game instead of the regular 64. It will be available on only 5 of the maps from Battlefield 1. Those are Giant's Shadow, Prix de Tahir, Lupkov Pass, Zeebrugge and River Somme. Now again, I've not played this game type in the CTE, but from what I can find out and from what I've seen in gameplay footage, it is a far more intense version of Operations with less time in between fights. The games will generally be a lot shorter than the standard Operations, more akin to something like a standard Conquest round as far as game time is concerned. And now some of you guys may have noticed that all of the selected maps are from DLCs, with Giant Shadow and Prix de Tahir now being available to all Battlefield 1 players. But never fear, DICE has done us a solid in terms of the other 3 maps. If you choose to play on the Shock Operations game type, it removes the restriction of having to have bought the DLC and paid for a premium pass for every single player on Battlefield 1. So those of you that might not have had a chance to play on these new maps get to do it with a whole new game type to boot. So those are the big additions in the June patch. There are some smaller bug fixes and some other quality of life improvements that have been added. Things like correcting spelling mistakes in descriptions. Finally, there's an added HUD element for the mortar cooldown. There's a new squad leader icon being added to the best squad screen, other stuff like that, which you will notice in game and can see for detail as always in the patch notes on the Battlefield website. Like I mentioned earlier, there hasn't been an official release date given for the June update, but it will definitely be in the next 4 days, because otherwise it will be the July update, which, you know, that's just not right. So that's all the news. Now I want to know what you guys think of it. What do you think of the new Shock Operations game mode? What about the Burton LMR or the alternate fire mode for the General Lou? Are you just sick of Battlefield 1 and can't wait for Battlefield 5 to finally drop? Make sure you let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And a quick thank you to those of you guys that are helping to support the channel through Patreon. It's because of you guys that I'm able to put content out as often as I do, and hopefully in the near future with some more support I'll be able to move on to doing this full time. So if you'd like to become a patron yourself, I've left a link in the description. I'll put a link in the pinned comment, and there's also a handy button on the end screen as well that will take you straight to the Patreon page, where if you'd like to, you can help support the channel from as little as $1 a month. So if you had a good time, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button too. Make sure you've hit the bell button so you get guaranteed notifications. Feel free to share this video with whoever and wherever you like. And until next time, that's Game Over. Peace.